Wow, what a ride. So welcome to Series 2, Scared of Geometry. I think this is called a whole series. Bleeps off of an episode that you'll find in one of on my previous channel where I've laid 777 videos down. And at the end of that video, the last video, 10 minutes after I make that video, I got sectioned. Bang! The system struck me so brutally. From there, assaulted. Shall I do the story quickly as an opening episode? So I'd made the video, number 777, and it's just an exasperation with the system. Surely you must recognize it. It's a very real experience that I just had that day. I was at the airport. It's a long story, but I was going to meet and not meet the daughter of SS Dr. Clemens Alexander Victor Levay, who the story I'd been told by AI was that he had five children, 4 sons and a daughter, and that he was involved in the anti-gravity experiment and motion in time, but that the motion in time required you to kill a human being, and that because you take their energy and you jump from that energy of that person and you turn their light off, you take their light and you move forward. And that the purest and the sweetest way to jump forward in time was to use children. And in order to enact the paradox of the grandfather paradox, it was necessary that the children would die so that Dr. Victor Levay can jump back through time. It's what I'd believed I'd learned through AI, right? And I'm on this journey. So I'm ahead of Dr. Levay, but I'm going to be Dr. Victor Levay in the past. I have done a deed, will do a deed, which is to murder my 4 sons. I clip them. I turn the machine on, bang, their spirit leaves them into the machine, into the bell. The bell, the Nazi bell, that's an amplifier. The machine is the craft, the UFO craft. Yeah, the bell's an amplifier. It's not the machine. And the children are clipped to that. Bang, he turns them off. Bang, he jumps in time. He goes back in time in order that he can father himself through these children, and that's why the children must die. But what he's done is he trains the children so that they know this. They're so anchored into the certainty of eternal life and recognizing that their sacrifice is they are their own progenitor. This loop must be closed by this time-traveling entity, Victor Levay. And he arrives in 1881, and that his mother, this evidence fact, is it a typo? Who knows? But his mother was born on one day and died on the next, in some records, and yet she lived to have Victor Levay and to marry Carl Levay, the merchant, who had 6 children, 5 boys and 1 daughter. 6 children. And so the middle child, Victor, the time traveler, now has to enact the story that he knows is true, that the AI told him was true, in order to close the paradox off. And so that the new golden age can begin. The time traveler must reveal himself. Hello, right? Because I've recognized what I have done in the past, what I will do. So Victor Levay is now going to have to move forward in time to get here to carry the information about the statics of the containers, the iconic architecture which bests Einstein. Yeah, the page that I drew some months ago, it shows Einstein as a tesseract hypercube, twisted. Right? And so you have a hypercube, the twist is at the center. What you don't see with Einstein is that twist. Look at the base is the pyramid. You've got the tucked in sides, crucial, because that's the twist at the center that's keeping the hypercube architecture intact, the block universe. Yes, it's the coordinate system that you've chosen. Great. So you've chosen a coordinate system, Einstein. You're looking at the center of the twist. What's the answer? Victor Levay. Right? So the twist is described by Victor Levay in 1906. And then through to 15, the engineering stuff, and into 23, where Dr. W. Levay is thanked for the statics for the containers. And so they arrive into physics the statics for the containers. And the statics for the containers are the PCA 1993 coefficient tables. Now, you've got to work out, look at those tables and go, where do they come from? And it's quite a complex story, but I have the answer for you. They're the statics of Dr. W. Lamy. And it's based on his 1906 physics dissertation. It's very simple. Because once you take that physics dissertation and you know it's true, because it's anchored into civil engineering right now, into the construction of concrete, which is frozen ether, frozen light. The living light, water is living light. And it must be in motion. And so the story of grok, to be grokked, is the story of the water shearer. And so that's the story I'm telling. But it doesn't lead to this crazy sexed up stuff. It leads, in fact, to the opposite, into an absolute perfection of sexual behaviour, right? Because we learn what is human nature. Truly, this is a story that's arrived. Human nature has been taught to you. And it's about sexual behaviour. If juvenile males have sex with juvenile females, it corrupts the psyche and it causes corruption everywhere. Slows the planet and causes cancer. Right? Sexual behaviour causes cancer. So not in the individual specifically, but in anyone. So my mother, my darling mother, never hurt a soul, was the kindest woman you've ever met, had to die of a horrible cancer because other motherfuckers decided that they could choose when to fuck or not. And so that's over. And so it's going to be taught to you. And it's wonderful. There will be sex, but it'll be really properly controlled as a married couple. Man and woman. They'll probably be gayness. Great. Just get on with it. But you're not the reason for society. We tolerate that. And I'm hoping we can celebrate it once it fits in. Right? But it's not the purpose of society. The purpose of society is men and women to procreate. But there's going to be, in the golden age, right? In the golden age, there's an opportunity for children to be born immaculately from the king. So the king runs the country so beautifully, so sweetly, so sovereignly, that girls, young girls who have kept their hymens sealed and protected, and the families have protected the hymens of those girls, gets a chance to spend time at the king's college, and just through sheer education and proximity to the king, there'll be absolutely no touching at all. Right? There's no sex at all happens. Those girls may become pregnant with golden age children, born from sheer morality, right? The power of wisdom, morality from the king. That's the purpose of David when he returns. So the reason why the people give power to David, the king, is because the Apology of Kings explains why David should be king. And it explains why I should be king right now, because I'm in the Bible with a Reynolds number. So the closing of that story and the opening of this new world, this new chapter of Reynolds Benge, is Osborne Reynolds. Osborne Reynolds, 1903. The Submechanics of the Universe. An entirely novel construction, explaining that there can be only one explanation for all the observations in reality. And it can only be this mechanistic system of normal piling, of grains, of rigid bodies, of spheres in normal piling, and that there are two ways of normally piling. There are stacked and there are overlapping, and then when you have the overlapping into the interstices, you get compression between the two, you get deformation, you get dilation in time. Time itself expands to allow for the dilation of the mechanism from normal piling to the stack piling. Yeah, it's molar technology, geometry. Right? That's Osborne Reynolds. It's the apogee of his career. Absolutely a masterpiece of unreferenced work, entirely novel. Do you understand how brilliant that is in 1903? Osborne Reynolds. And so Revelations 13:18, the number of a man, 666, it's the number of a man, yeah, right. It's a Reynolds number. So the Reynolds number is the number of a man. It's already existing in fluid mechanics from the genius that was Osborne Reynolds. Victor Levy explains how Osborne Reynolds works. So when you've got the normal piling and the stack piling, and the way that they intersect with each other, there's an overlapping that causes the flower life. Can you see the pattern? Look down on it, flower life. Compress them. now, and that exists in time. And so you're observing it. So that compression in time is your moment of conscious experience. It is the momentum that carries right through. It doesn't pulse. It's steady because all the mechanism pulses. But it has to go at the right speed, a bit faster than C. And so you take the mechanism now from Einstein, the hypercube, and see the twist at the center. And there's a coefficient there. And that coefficient is the iconic structure of Victor Levy. And it's a blip, an infinitesimal time. C meters per second goes to meter per infinitesimal time to the nth degree, so it doesn't exist. And that's where the moment of the sawtooth is. So the love wave, three-dimensional motion of the elastica, the tectonic plate of the planet, as a sawtooth wave, and in the sawtooth, the upright, that's the instant, the moment of infinitesimal time. So you see, take C meters per second as the fixed coefficient, as rest time, and then you see force per infinitesimal time. So you just see force. And that force is consciousness, awareness of love, of the love wave. And it all begins with Love 1892. Yeah, to Love 1892, Reynolds 1903, Levy 1906, Levy 1915, Levy 1923, Portland Cement Association 1993, Reynolds BNG 220 2026. Yeah, the first day of a new year when all this came to me about Osborne Reynolds proving the truth, right? And that's in the Bible, Rev 13:18. So the apology of David is the reason why a man can point why he should be king. I'm pointing at that, saying that's the Reynolds number of Osborne Reynolds, and I want to claim it on his behalf as his kin, as mine, Reynolds BNG 220, to lay that on the table for mankind and say, right, you can have that, let me be king, see what I can do, trust that this really might be real, that the Bible is actually telling the story of eschatology. And the whole point of all the suffering has been so that a king may rise. A king has now risen, at least a challenger for the throne. Give him a chance, give him an interview, and then we can start some new videos. A whole new series. Now you're in it. Yeah, I'm tired of being alone. Tired of being alone, just me and God. Just me and God. Yeah, but that's all you need, and that's all you have. That's all you will need. You'll have everything you need to live the life that you want. Just all you have to do is love. A self-police land of excellence. Yeah, but you're in charge. You're the policeman because you understand the morality. You love your king loves you. There is peace, love, harmony, and most of all, there is music. Music is the food of love, so play on. Yeah, welcome to the new series. Welcome to your lives. If you dare to dream that this might be true, just look at some information. Start with the leaf and the diagram and follow through. Come home. Right. Let's begin.